feel that there's this unspoken aesthetic image in our industry? This perfect skin, polished looks, perfect lips, hair extensions, glam look that it's never been written, but it just organically evolved into this aesthetic mold that providers feel pressured to fit into. I mean, comparison culture is so real on social media, and it can feel very isolating if you feel like you don't fit into that mold. Do you feel that there is an aesthetic mold or this unspoken pressure that aesthetic providers feel?
Absolutely. I don't know if you remember, but when we were on that panel at Aesthetic Next, Sally Santos said, comparison is the thief of all joy. And yes, we've heard that a million times, but it really did stick with me because I try not to compare myself to anybody doing anything in this industry. And when I first started, I didn't look the part of anything, of any field. I was 300 pounds. I didn't look like I took care of myself. My eyebrows grow out in like 48 hours. So if I don't take care of them, you're going to be seeing a bushman. Like I need a whole deforestation process. And I never really cared to be that girl who like you look at this and you're like, okay, hypocrite. But I promise you, I try to be as low maintenance as possible. And that's kind of how I've curated the treatment plans that I've curated too, because I don't want to be doing 5 million things, chronically working on my looks. Like, I'd rather focus on the inner work because and I truly, genuinely believe this, what's gotten me to this point is what I have inside, not how I look outside, because I never fit that mold. And I told Tiffany this on her podcast where I was at a conference. I walked up. The women at that table said, first of all, they looked at me up and down and were like, "You can't sit here." And I was like, "All right, peace." Like, I don't need to sit there. So, it doesn't stay with me in the sense of like they'll see like I'm gonna get revenge on them. It's just like I grew up in an immigrant family. I'm an immigrant. I was born in the Soviet Union. You're not gonna hurt me with telling me I can't sit at your table. So I just knew that I was never going to be that person. I didn't want to put pressure on anybody to look a certain way to hang out with me. And I don't think it's just exclusive to our industry. I think this is with social media, especially, it's ruining people's human experience. We have blur filters. I did a get ready with me the other night and I was like, why am I doing this in the beauty mode? So I took it off and I was like, look, this is with it on, this is with it with this is without it. And I want to be like this person in this industry who wants to say fuck the mold because I'm not the mold. I've never been the mold and I won't ever be a mold. Us being in this industry, I think we have what does Uncle Ben say, with great power comes great responsibility. I think we genuinely have a very big duty to, and let's be real, a majority of our patients are women, and a majority of my patients are very young women. And they're very impressionable, and they see these TikToks and they come in and they want to slim down their masseters, and they've never had toxins before. At the age of 18, you're not grinding, you don't have TMJ disorders, you don't have migraines. Why are we slimming down your masseters? Because it's trending on TikTok. So social media has a big part to do with what we're discussing right now, but also our industry has become this thing that's synonymous with glam and perfection. I will not be the one to say your hair needs to always be perfect. You need to have a full beat on. You need to have your lashes done. You need to, if you see me in clinic, you'll be like, is this the same girl from Instagram? Because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in being in full glam every single day of your life. That kind of pressure is insanity.
I wholeheartedly agree. I Were you born with this confidence, or was there a moment where you were like, I am done shrinking myself or diluting myself to make other people feel more comfortable with me?
I feel it. Let's rephrase the word confidence. I think I was born delusional. So always in dance, I was a gymnast. So I was on stages. So when I stopped gymnastics, and that's when my weight started fluctuating and I started battling obesity from that age, I stayed with that. That confidence stayed with me. So it didn't matter that I was 300 pounds or 128 pounds. Like that was just, it was me. Like you guys You guys like me, for who I am. You think I'm funny. You think I'm like unfiltered. You think all of this stuff. And that I just feel like that stayed with me. There wasn't a single point. Like there's all of this shit that has happened that I don't feel the need to like sit and dwell and victimize myself because I will cry about it. And I have cried about it. Like I looked a certain way and I was speaking the exact same way. I think if anything, when I was 300 pounds, I was more brutal about what I was saying. And no one had anything mean or negative to say. They'd be like, oh my God, that's the funny fat girl. So you got your label. That was the label. And cool. She's not gonna offend anybody because she's not a threat. Now, when I started looking a certain way, I'm still speaking the same way. I still say like the jokes. I still say what I think. I want to be real and raw and authentic, and I want to curate that crowd around me. But me being this way, I started seeing the shift in people in our industry too, because I won't forget this. Like somebody who I did consider close to me saw me, and I had started my speaking positions. My social media was started blowing up because I hired my amazing team, and no one was doing content like we do. I wasn't a threat until I became a threat because I started to fit the mold. And again, I won't forget, there was I did conferences like, and we had one in LA, and people came up to me and were like, oh my God, like, can we take a picture with you? We love your content. And I'm like, wow, career highlight moment. Like in LA, people are treating me like this. And then and the people I was with, who I consider close colleagues and friends, one of them turned around and was like, it's just Nune. Like, what are you getting, we're getting worked up about? Like, it's just Nune, which yeah, cool. I love the humility. I love that my friends will always keep me grounded and humbled. But you didn't have a problem with people coming up to me and saying your content's hilarious. This is funny when I looked a certain way. And now I look a different way. It's just, it all boils back down to people being judgmental and shitty. So I know when we were texting back and forth, I was like, let the theme of our talk be do you. Because end of the day, there's going to be people that just hate you for existing.
I haven't experienced any like mean girls or anything in the industry, but I will say there was a moment in 2023 that I walked up to somebody that I admired at a conference, another provider, and I asked to take a picture with them, and they were too busy to take a picture and kind of snubbed me. Fast forward to last year, 2 years later, where I've kind of grown a little bit of a presence in our industry and I've been speaking more. They came up to me and asked me to take a selfie with them. And I don't
Were
think
you
that
too busy?
no, I will one thing about me, and I know you're the same, is I would never make somebody feel the way I have felt in certain situations. So I go out of my way to have conversations with people. I am not a celebrity, but I'll take a photo with whoever. Like I'm never too busy. I'm grateful for that experience because I never want somebody to feel unseen like I felt in that moment. And the wild thing when she came and asked me for a selfie 2 years later, I was like, she doesn't remember that she did that to me. And I didn't say anything. I wasn't going to be like, now I'm busy. I wasn't going to be petty like that. But it was just a full circle. I know you would have been petty, but it was a full circle moment for me because it's the reality of our industry and it's sad and I hate it. So I hope that my presence and my brand in the industry makes people feel like warm and welcome and doesn't give off that like coldness or you don't belong. I want everybody to feel that they kind of belong. And I feel like you have a similar brand where you're just like, fuck the mold. Let's just have fun together.
Mm-hmm.
Remember you telling me about a situation where you were on stage with, I believe it was Subio, and somebody in the audience questioned your credentials, your experience publicly while you were speaking on stage. Can you walk me through that situation and kind of how that made you feel?
So we all know Subio goes rogue, especially when we're on stages. So he was just like, you know what? Nuna's here. She's sitting in the audience right now. I'm just going to bring her up and we're going to do a consultation. He's like, as a plastic surgeon, I want you guys to hear from a world-renowned nurse practitioner in her field who's very respected, and who I respect myself. So he kind of gave me an intro already. But then I got up there and I was like, well, I'm very agreeable. I'm very pro plastic surgery, as we should all be, because our treatments go hand in hand. And then we hear, who are you? And so I'm looking at Subio's looking at me. I just thought, like, okay, how do I answer this? Like, my full face is plastered on the wall behind with my credentials on the bottom. So anyway, so Subio kind of answers for me, and then she goes like, well, what are your credentials? Mind you, there's like hundreds of people. And then I'm like, again, I respond, I'm a doctor of nursing practice, certified family nurse practitioner, advanced practice registered nurse. And then again, Subio's like, can we go on? It was just one of those things where I was like, the level of disrespect, like, why did you feel that you needed to try to embarrass or belittle or just trip up somebody on stage? I would have never in a million years thought to, if I didn't even know somebody, scream from the back of the room, who are you, to somebody on stage, to try to bash. And then it's like female bashing, and it's insanity to me. Why do you feel the need? How do you even allow yourself to speak that way to adults? We're grown ass adults.
Yeah, I don't understand what she was expecting to get out of "Who are you?" Like, it's one thing to sit in the audience and have your thoughts about who's speaking on stage, right? And then you could just
Yeah.
easily Google your name and figure out who you are and what your credentials were. You don't agree with the person on stage or what they're saying or whatever the case may be, but you take it in and then you move on. I don't understand what she was expecting to get out of it. There's a reason you were on stage, because of your brand, your experience, your knowledge, your credentials. There's a reason you're standing on stage. I just don't understand why she felt the need to ask that question. And it blew my mind when you told me that. And I'm so glad Subio had your back in that moment, because I'm sure if I were on stage, I would have been just like crippled and like cried and been like, I don't understand why you're asking this. Like, just Google me while you're sitting there. You talk crap behind my back, but to publicly raise your hand and ask that, I just think
There was no raising hand. It was yelling across from the back of the room. Who are you? I don't even know at this point. Like, I don't know.
I think I graduated some program. I know you become like paralyzed in that moment. And I hate those moments because I always leave and I'm like, oh, I should have said this. And I always think of something cool to say after the fact. But I think people like you and I just need to continue to just like embrace everybody and set the tone of what our industry should be. And it shouldn't be this mean girl bashing. I mean, the reality is that these conferences are like a fashion show. And I remember putting on a blazer and realizing that I wore the blazer to the last conference I went to. And I was like, I can't wear this again. I just took pictures at another conference. And I was like, I'm so sick of the pressure of I can't repeat an outfit. I have to have my hair perfect. The amount of prep work that it takes to go to these conferences, your lashes, your this, your that, your hair, it's so much work. And it's this unspoken pressure that's just put on us that nobody really talks about. But it's like a fashion show there, that to the point where I'm so horrified by the pressure to look a certain way that I've started just wearing scrubs any moment I can, because I don't want to worry about it. I don't want to spend thousands of dollars buying all these outfits to wear once at a conference. And I got so sick of it that I just started wearing scrubs. And I was like, I don't care. I look the same. I don't have a cool blazer, but I'm done. I'm done with it. That's how I felt all last year, that if you look at aesthetic next pictures, like I'm in scrubs 99%. Because I was like, I'm done stressing over what to wear, because it doesn't matter. What matters is what's coming out of my mouth, not what blazer I have on. And that pressure really kind of took over me. I feel like you handle that pressure a lot better than I do, because your outfits are always so fabulous.
It's funny that you say that, because my outfits are literally Spanx, Skims, and tights. Like, there's very little fluctuation to what I wear. Like, I cannot wear these crazy blazers with sparkles from head to toe. Like, I don't want to be seen in that sense. But like the fashion aspect of it, like I'm Armenian. Like that's embedded in us at birth. Okay. So we want to look good. We always want to look good. It's the fact that people are trying to one up each other. It's like this
Yeah.
little world where it's hilarious because if you've ever been to any other conference for medicine, you should see the way these people dress.
It's not a fashion show. There's no bedazzled blazers.
No, but I'm for me, it's like the pressure is always on, especially like you know, we have red carpets. You know, where you're going up on stage, you're presenting yourself, you're presenting your brand, and like some of these people that's what they want to be known as. Like they still have that elite mentality, whereas like if I'm rocking something, I'm not gonna gatekeep, and if my like the audience loves it, I'll get messages of what are you wearing, blah 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 blah. And again, there's people who are just don't even respond to those messages, and then there's people like me who are like, here's my hair girl, here's my makeup, here's my lash girl, here's what I have on.
Yeah.
This is fake, this is fake, this is fake.
Well, to your point, I asked you, I'm like, your social media is killing it. Who do you use? And you immediately sent me your person.
Yeah.
Like, you are not a gatekeeper. And that's why I'm so drawn to you because I think the more you share, the more that comes back to you. Like,
Yeah.
people are like, why are you writing your books and giving away your techniques and tips? And I'm like, because the more I pour into other people, the more I find that I benefit and it just
Mhm.
comes back full circle. And I feel like
Yeah.
if I pour into the industry pours back into me. And it's just, we don't need to gatekeep. And let me tell you, nobody's really asked me where I got my outfits, but I will say that here's what I started noticing. When I first started the conference circle, right? I was like, I have to have everything like top tier. I'm not a designer girl. We all know that about Alexis, but I wanted like my outfits from Revolve and like have like more expensive outfits. You know what I realized? I got some outfits from like Shein and those crappy websites. I get
Mhm.
more compliments sometimes on those crappy outfits than I do on a $300 blazer or whatever. And so I realized it's all about how you show up. And if you
Mhm.
feel that this pressure is kind of crippling you like it did me in the past. I love the quote, you stop worrying about what people think about you when you realize how seldom they think about you. Like nobody cares. Just be you. Be like your vibrant, loving, welcoming, warm self and nobody's going to remember what you were wearing. I guarantee it. I don't even remember what I wore to conferences in the past. So I want people to understand, yes, that there is this like wild mold that the aesthetic industry has organically created for us, but you don't have to fit into it. You don't have to feel the pressure of it. And you can show up authentically you and still be accepted in this wild circus of an industry. And Scrubs sitting next to me and next to your Skims, Scrubs and Skims.
Literally. And Spanx. Don't forget the Spanx. The Spanx bodysuits, Skims bodysuits, and that's it. You can pair that with a cute little Louboutin and call it a day.
So I'll be in sneakers. Don't even. Don't even.